Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all well and dandy out there in Beatles land, YouTubers, members of the vinyl community, people on the internet and anybody that's just come across this little channel of ours. I'm going to do some Beatle Dave special shout outs to start off with, and then I'm going to show you some of the records that I've been playing in the past couple of weeks and what I think of them and things like that. So it's a bit of a special shout out and a catch-ups video. So we'll start off with the Beatle Dave special shout outs. If you're sitting comfortably, then I will begin. This is to 10 Beatles, 10 YouTube channels, not necessarily Beatles channels, but 10 YouTube channels that have supported me over the last year or year and a half or 2 years. You know, they've been there. The first couple are fairly new channels that I've only just discovered, so please bear with me. I wrote them down, so that's why I've got my granddad glasses on. So without further ado, let's start the show. So welcome each and every one of you. Right, so Beatle Dave special shout outs. As I say, there's going to be 10. So the first one is a new channel. I've only just come across this channel in the past probably month, and it's called On Air My Beatles channel. It's basically a chap in America. He's got a vast collection of Beatles albums, CDs and stuff like that, and they're like show me videos. So this is what I've been listening to, this CD box set and things like that. Well worth checking out, so please check that one out. The second one is Uncle Paul's Beatles Pop Playhouse YouTube channel. Very, very entertaining. Again, he's only been doing it probably about a month now, I think. Please check him out. Very, very entertaining, very funny, and he always mentions me, so thank you very much. The next is to Gav Axman Spins. Now, Gav is fairly new to the YouTube world and the vinyl community. He's built up a very, very good following in quite a small time, about 6 months, I think. He's got a vast array of records and musical knowledge. He likes the Beatles, but he also likes things like Iron Maiden and the Smiths and Led Zeppelin and the Cure and things like that. Always very, very entertaining and a pleasure to watch. So thanks for your support in the last 6 months or year. That's Gav Axman Spins. Then there's my old mate, the Vinyl Vault. So please check out this channel, the Vinyl Vault. He goes to car boots, record fairs and things like that, and over the past few years he's found some amazing finds, not just Beatles records. He's found Led Zeppelin first pressings, he's found a solid blue triangle center of Dark Side of the Moon and things like that. Check him out. It's a wonderful channel, and he likes to have a laugh and a joke sometimes as well. Then we've got Robert Trotter, who's got a YouTube channel. Always mentions me, no matter what he's on about. He will always mention me, and even goes on other people's channels and always mentions me. So, you know, thank you very much. You know, I think because of all the work you've done, mate, you have probably sent about 4,000 subscribers my way over the past year. So keep up the good work, Robert Trotter. Thank you very much. Then we've got me and Mr. Mayo. Now, me and Mr. Mayo doesn't need any introduction whatsoever. Joe has been going for years and years and years on the YouTube community, the vinyl community, the Beatles community. Really, really lovely guy. You know, so please, if you've never checked out Joe's channel, please check it out. Number 7 is, again, a fairly newish channel, probably been going about a year now, and it's my old mate Patricia in America. A Little Beatles Corner. First generation Beatles fan. She shows you some amazing things she's collected over the years, and like me, she's still buying stuff now, all these years later. So we've got a couple more. Number 8 is Beatle Tone's Beatles channel. Now, me and Tone started our channels roughly about the same time. I think I might have started just before Tony. Very, very entertaining. He's more of like a Beatles news sort of channel. You know, when anything breaks, Tone's always there. He'll give you the news, and then he'll give you reviews and things like that. Fantastic bloke. And it's nice to see you looking very, very well, Tony. So thanks for all your support since both our channels have started, basically. Then number 9, again, this person doesn't really need any introduction to the Beatles community, the vinyl community, or the YouTube community. It's Beatle Brad, based in America. Again, he's been doing videos for years and years and years. Always comments on my videos, and they're always polite and positive. So thank you very much, Beatle Brad, my Beatles brother. I love you. And then the 10th one goes to Rachel's Ghost. Again, Rachel probably doesn't need any introduction. You either know Rachel or you don't. Rachel was one of the first people to ever champion my channel all those years ago. So I will always appreciate what you did for me, Rachel. And hopefully one day me and you might do a one-to-one video or something like that. So that is all of the special Beatle Dave's shout outs to other YouTube channels. If I haven't gave you a shout out, don't be offended. If I wanted, if I was going to shout out everybody that supported me, this video would be going on for about 3 weeks. Right, so we've got them out of the way. So what have I been listening to in the past month? Probably mainly Beatles, but there is some other things in here as well. So I hope you're going to find this interesting. I will try to make it as interesting as I can. I'm going to make it very, very fast, so I'm not going to get the records out or anything like that. I'll just show you roughly what I've been playing on my decks. The first one is The Story of the Clash. Now, this is a double LP, and it's a compilation of the best of the Clash, basically. And it's called Volume 1. Although, in all fairness, there was never a Volume 2. Now, I don't know if you're going to see this because it's very, very dark in the UK at the minute as I'm recording this. I mean, it's like 4:30 in the afternoon. So, I will try and get the best sort of view of the records as I can. A fantastic album. If you haven't got any Clash singles or albums and you want to know what all the fuss is about, just go out and get this. Unfortunately, it isn't cheap. It is quite expensive. If I was quite lucky, I think I paid about £15 for this earlier in the year. But it is a great album to have, especially if you like your punk and stuff like that. Then there's this one, which is The Concerts for the People of Kampuchea. I got this in a job lot about a month ago, and I hardly paid anything for the whole job lot. In fact, it was 2 job lots. I've got this basically for, or the reason I got this was for side 4. Again, it's a 2 record set because side 4 is basically Paul McCartney Wings Live from 1979. So you get Got to Get Me Into Your Life, Every Night, Coming Up, Lucille, Let It Be, and Rock Story Theme. But there is other bands on it. Side 1 is just The Who, so you get Barbara O'Reilly, Sister Disco, Behind Blue Eyes, and See Me, Feel Me. Side 2 is The Pretenders with The Weight, The Pretenders with Precious, Pretenders with Tattooed Love Boys, Elvis Costello in the Traction with The Imposter, Rock Power with Crawling from the Wreckage, and Rock Power with Robert Plant with Little Sister. I've only listened to this album completely once, and for saying it was a live recording, I think it's absolutely amazing. Why I've never had this album before, I will never know. Side 3 kicks off with Queen with Now I'm Here. Then you've got The Clash, who we've just been on about, with Armageddon Time. Then you've got Ian join the Blockheads with Hit Me with Your Rhythm Stick. Fantastic version of that. And then it closes with Monkey Man by The Specials. I'm very sorry if you can't see these covers very good, but I'm trying to do this as quick as I can. Then we've got, this is the Beatles White Album that I got last week. This is a German pressing from 1988. It's a direct Metal Master stereo, so it's not mono. It's on the Parlophone label instead of the Apple label, but this didn't come with the poster or the photos, and I'm still not 100% sure whether it did or not, because I've had some comments saying it should have had them with it, and others saying no, it just came as you've shown it. Bit of controversy with this one, because some people say direct metal masters sound absolutely brilliant, other people say they don't. All I'll say is I've played this and it was very, very enjoyable to listen to from start to finish, and on my equipment, which I've said before is nothing special, it's pretty old, you know, it works okay and everything, excuse me, but I thought that sounded brilliant. Equivalent to anything that was released in the UK around that time. I'm not saying it's actually better than that, but I'm not saying it's any worse. Then there's this one, Living in the Material World. This is the double LP version. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the box version, but this is second best. I've listened to this a couple of times actually. The remixed album, I've got no problem with whatsoever. It sounds absolutely fantastic, and it seems to have given a bit more life and depth to the songs. The second album, which is demos and outtakes, in one way is a bit more interesting to me than the first album, if that makes sense. It's just a shame it doesn't have Sunshine Life for Me, Sail Away Raymond on it, but you had to get the box set to get that, because the selling point of the box set was the limited edition single, wasn't it? But yeah, wasn't that expensive, to be honest, compared to some of the things that have come out this year. Yeah, thoroughly enjoy it. Played this a few times now. Very, very happy with it. Glad to have it in my collection. And there's not a lot more to be said about this one. What we got next? Then there is this big boy. The Beatles 1964 US albums in mono. Again, there's been a lot of controversy over the internet, Beatles sites, YouTube channels, vinyl community channels, you name it. Everybody seems to have opinion on this. As a UK based Beatles channel, I actually quite welcomed this being released. Yes, everybody would have preferred to have had Rubber Soul, but maybe we'll get that in 2025. We'll just have to wait and see and keep our fingers crossed. I've played all these now. Most of them I've played 2 or 3 times. They actually sound really, really good to me. They sound amazing. I did have all the albums that are already in here in either mono or stereo original American copies on Capitol, apart from A Hard Day's Night, which was an original Canadian 1960s copy. So to get all these in nice remastered 180 gram vinyl, audiophile, whatever you want to call it, although I'm not an audiophile, I just play records because I like playing records. It isn't cheap, but if you work out what a single album is, I mean, I've just looked on HMV and they're saying, oh, we've got a clearance on at the minute for 3 albums for £66. Well, that still makes them £22 each, doesn't it? So yes, if you lived in America and other parts of the world, I think to get this as a box set was a hell of a lot more than buying the albums individually. I got this for a really, really good deal, so I'm dead happy. And yeah, it is something that is going to get played and played and played, which is what we get records for, isn't it? That's why we're record collectors in the first place. Then there's this one. This is Ride a White Swan, and it's a compilation of T-Rex. Obviously in September it was the anniversary of Mark Bolan's death. So I've been playing this on and off since September. And there's some really, really good songs on here, and then there's some songs that aren't that good. So side 1 is Ride a White Swan, then you get Deborah, then you get Child Star, Cat Black, The Wizard's Hat, Consella, and then Strange Orchestras. So a few of them were singles, and then I think there's B-sides and stuff like that. Then you got 1 Inch Rock, Salamander's Pelaganda, Lofty Skies, Stacey's Groove, King of the Rumbling Spires, which is an absolutely fantastic song, and then Elemental Child. So this wouldn't be everybody's cup of tea. If you've never listened to T-Rex, this probably is not the best album to listen to, but because I've got most of the albums anyway, this is just nice to have all these in one place. And I think I paid something like £2 for that or something like that. It's a very, very low budget compilation, hence the very, very minimal sleeve, and that's the track list in there. And it is on Music for Pleasure, which was a budget label of EMI. Then we've got this. This takes me back to my youth. I was into Adam and the Ants, Madness, the Specials, the Sex Pistols, the Undertones, the Clash and things like that. And this is Kings of the Wild Frontier by Adam and the Ants. I will take this one out the sleeve. Probably Adam and the Ants' most popular and famous album, although song for song, although I shouldn't really say this because I do think this is a fantastic album, song for song I do think Dirk Wears White Socks just tops this. But this is the album that propelled him to pop stardom, not only in the UK but around Europe and also in America. You've got Dog Eat Dog, Amp Music, Feed Me to the Lions, Los Ranchos, Ants Invasion, Killer in the Home, Kings of the Wild Frontier, which was actually released before this album and got nowhere in the UK charts, and after this album it was re-released and it did get very high in the charts. The Magnificent Seven, Don't Be Square, Be There, Jolly Roger, Making History, and then The Human Beings. And the original copies of this did come with a catalogue and an inner sleeve with the lyrics. Great album. I have got an anniversary box set of this as well, where it's on gold vinyl and you get CDs and stuff like that. If you ever want to know what Adam and the Ants were like in their heyday, this is album for you. You can usually find it on internet selling sites for around the £10 mark. Sometimes you can get it for as cheap as £1. But you know, this is a really, really nice copy. It's virtually mint. I have got more than one copy of this, by the way, and everything is intact. You know, the cover's complete, the inner sleeve is there, and the all important booklet stroke catalogue is there, which gives you a brief history of Adam and the Ants up to this point in his career. Then we've got, this might surprise a few people, Beatle Dave listening to Bob Dylan, although this is Bob Dylan's greatest hits. Up until last year, I sort of like didn't really like Bob Dylan. Well, I'd got a couple of albums of his, but I could never really get into him. Then I got, is it Manhattan Skyline? And I thought, you know, to be fair, I've got to give Bob Dylan a second chance. And since then, I've liked him. Not his biggest fan, don't get me wrong. But this is, like it says, greatest hits. So you got Blowing in the Wind, It Ain't Me, Babe, The Times They Are A-Changin', Hey Mr. Tambourine Man, She Belongs to Me, It's All Over Now, Baby Blue. Side 2 is Suburban Homesick Blues. That is a fantastic track. Very ahead of its time in some ways, in my opinion. One of Us Must Know, Like a Rolling Stone, How Does It Feel to Be on Your Own? Rainy Day Woman, numbers 12 and 28, or 12 and 35, I think it is there. I had a bootleg of the Beatles doing sessions during the Get Back, Stroke, Let It Be era, and there was a version of John Lennon doing this. Very tongue-in-cheek, but it was actually quite a good version. Just Like a Woman's also in it, and then I Want You, which is the Bob Dylan song, not the Beatles song, obviously. Then there's this one, Tighten Up Volume 2. Now, Nick's Final Butty, who is another YouTube channel, I know you're into this. I don't know if you've got this copy or not, mate, but this is a very, very like early compilation of records that were released on Trojan. You call it reggae or ska or whatever. Some of the songs on here do sound better than others. Some have lasted the test of time better than others. Nick, if you haven't got this, mate, let me know. Yeah. This is mono and it's TTL7. I think there's 10 volumes of this. So that is the track listing. Shall I take it out? That is the track listing. So if you wanted to freeze and then zoom in, you'll be able to tell. And that is the Trojan label. Which is actually a very, very collectible record label nowadays, especially for original pressings. Can a compilation be an original pressing? Well, of course it can. If it's the original one from when it was pressed, then it's an original pressing, isn't it? That I got for £8, I think it was, and that was very, very cheap for that. Then I've got a Beach Boys album, so maybe I should change the name of the channel instead of Beatle Dave to Beach Boy Dave. Yeah. This is just like golden hits, what it says on the front. Again, this was in recent job lots that I got. Very, very basic compilation album. Something to do with Reader's Digest, I think, originally. But you do get some brilliant songs on it. Side one, you get I Get Around, Help Me Rhonda, Sloop John B, God Only Knows, Then I Kissed Her, Good Vibration. So I think most of you out there will know every one of those songs. Side two, you get Heroes and Villains, Darling, Friends, Do It Again, I Can Hear Music, Breakaway, and Cotton Fields. Again, I did have a bootleg many, many years ago where the Beatles do a version of Cotton Fields, where I think it's John Lennon on an acoustic guitar. So that is the track listing. Again, I think I paid something like 50 pence for that. 50 pence for Beach Boys compilation. So what do you think, folks? Should I change the name of the channel to Beach Boy Dave? Or shall I keep it Beatle Dave? And then the last one is, excuse me, 10cc's Greatest Hits 1972 to 1975. Again, I think this was in the same job lot that I got those from. But because I had a few days off work this month, I thought I'd just play some of these. I've cleaned them and played them. 10cc were a very, very big band, especially in the UK back in the day. Probably best known for I'm Not in Love and Dreadlock Holiday. Although they did go through quite a few little changes, personnel changes. A lot of people like to make fun of these now or slag them off, which seems to be the thing to do in 2024. Is if you don't like something, slag it off. But I always quite like 10cc, and you know, every one of the members in 10cc were brilliant musicians, brilliant singers, and fantastic songwriters. 10cc is where Godley and Cream originally came from, who went on to have a very, very successful solo career, well, as a duo, and then they started making promo videos for people like Frankie Goes to Hollywood and stuff like that. This is one band, to be perfectly honest, that I would like to see reform with this original lineup. They did I'm Mandy, Fly Me, and Donna, and you know, Art for Art's Sake, Dreadlock Holiday, The Dean and I, Life is a Minestrone, Rubber Bullets. Again, fantastic song. I don't know how big these were in other parts of the world, but they were really, really big in the UK and in Europe. So that's what I've been listening to in the past few weeks. I am waiting for, I think I've got one more record to come before Christmas. And, you know, so I hope you've enjoyed this. See, Beatle Dave does listen to other music other than the Beatles. It's not very often I do listen to anything other than the Beatles, but I do listen to other bands and other artists. You know, this is my channel. You know, people will say, why are you showing them? It's not the Beatles. And other people will say, why don't you show other things instead of the Beatles? I'm trying to please everybody all the time. I know sometimes I can't do it. Whatever you're doing, please stay safe, by the way. You know, thank you to everybody that has supported my channel, especially this year, and who supported it from day one. You know, it's been a bit of an up and down year. Yeah, we are still getting subscribers, we are still getting a lot of likes, and we're getting a lot of fantastic comments and things like that. I think I'm probably at a peak now, to be honest. I don't think I can make this channel really much bigger than what it is now. Which some people are saying, hey, we can have all your subscribers now. Yeah, you can, you know. You know, my channel is me. What you see is what you get. I'm not in competition with anybody, and I love you all, and I think that's going to be it. So I hope you enjoyed the special Beatle Dave's shout outs, and I hope you've enjoyed seeing some of the other records that Beatle Dave listens to when he's not listening to the Beatles. You know, I've got thousands of records, thousands and thousands of records. I've been collecting records since 1975. So next year, or next month, will be 50 years since I bought my first record. That is actually quite scary, isn't it? Anyway, I'm starting to mumble now, so let's close the video. Peace, love and happiness to you all. As I've already said, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Just remember, it's only a little bit of fun. Don't take me too serious. Please do not take me too serious. Yeah, I'm just here to entertain you. I brought a smile to your face while you've watched this, then I've done my job. So until the next time, as my old mate Beatle Brad would say, I'm out of here. Bye, cheerio.